Steve Blastozy's, the monster, the YIPS. Whatever you want to call it, there is a condition that a baseball player can develop literally out of nowhere, with absolutely no warning, where they inexplicably lose the ability to throw a baseball with any degree of accuracy. The YIPS can affect anybody. It could be a golfer. It could be a pianist, a darts player, anything that requires a specific refined motor skill. It was once thought that the YIPS were associated with performance anxiety, although according to the Mayo Clinic, it now appears that some people have the YIPS due to a neurological condition affecting specific muscles. This is also known as focal dystonia. It can strike anyone. Infielders, suddenly just incapable of throwing the ball to first base. Catchers. How many times do you think a major league catcher must have made that throw back to the pitcher in his life? I can't even begin to estimate. Instantly, that easy 60-foot toss just becomes impossible. But most commonly, we see this with pitchers. If you were watching the Major League Baseball playoffs in 2000, you may have seen one of the most sudden and difficult to watch attack of the YIPS ever. It was shocking. October 3rd, 2000. Game 1 of the National League Division Series, St. Louis Cardinals hosting the Atlanta Braves. Things were going great for St. Louis pitcher Rick Ankiel. It was the third inning, and the Cards had jumped out to a 6-0 lead. After walking Greg Maddux and getting Rookie of the Year Rafael Furcal to pop out to first base, Ankiel threw a first pitch strike to Andrew Jones, and then his life changed forever. He threw a curveball that catcher Carlos Hernandez couldn't handle. It was in the dirt, a wild pitch that allowed Greg Maddux to take second base. Ankiel says in his autobiography, Phenomenon, that he remembers thinking to himself, "Whoa, that was weird." Maybe a little surprised how that pitch went, but no big deal. 2 pitches later, another wild pitch. Then a walk. Chipper Jones comes up to bat. Another wild pitch. Then Andres Galarraga. Another wild pitch. Run scores, then a walk. Brian Jordan comes up swinging and singles, scoring another run. Reggie Sanders at the plate. Another wild pitch, then a walk. Followed by a Walt Weiss single to score 2 more runs. At this point, Tony La Russa stops the pain and pulls Ankiel from the game. In just 2/3 of an inning, Rick suffered through 4 walks and 5 wild pitches. He now owns the Major League Baseball record for most wild pitches in a postseason game ever, and he did it over a 33-pitch span. He's also tied for the MLB record for most wild pitches in a game, tying Burt Cunningham, who did it in 1890, 110 years earlier. Okay, so that's the moment life changed for Rick, but what makes him so interesting to me is not this one day or his struggles to regain his pitching form, but for what he did 10 years later while playing for the Atlanta Braves. Rick Ankiel, suddenly struck by the YIPS, battled for years to regain his ability to pitch. Eventually, he decided he'd had enough and quit baseball. But he didn't stay away for long. The man simply would not quit. He reinvented himself as a center fielder, and in 2010, while playing for my team, the Braves, there wasn't a guy I was cheering for more than Rick Ankiel. He forever left his stamp on Braves history when he hit a winning home run in the 11th inning of Game 2 in the NLDS against the Giants.
And a fly ball hit deep to right field. And this ball is out of here and over the seats. Rick Ankiel into the Cubby Cove. And Rick Ankiel has given the Braves a 5-4 lead. And this crowd is stunned.
But let me pause for a minute, rewind, and fill in Rick's backstory. I won't go into tremendous detail, but it's important to know this about Rick's childhood. He had it rough. Rick's dad was an alcoholic, a drug dealer, a convicted felon. Rick spent many nights hiding under his bed, crying himself to sleep while his father yelled and beat up his mother in the next room. Richard Ankiel Sr. was arrested 14 times. He rode Rick hard, holding him to impossible standards. Whether it was in spite of or due to his father's influence, Rick evolved into a true phenom in high school. A left-handed pitcher, outfielder, and hitter, Rick was throwing in the low 90s as a sophomore at Port St. Lucie High School. He was the USA Today National Player of the Year in high school in 1997. He had an 11-1 record as a senior with a 0.47 ERA, and of the 222 outs that he recorded, only 60 were not strikeouts. One game he struck out the first 19 batters, hit the 20th batter, and then picked him off first base. The 21st batter bunted for a 1-3 putout. In another game, Rick pitched a no-hitter. The opposing pitcher threw a one-hitter. That one hit was a home run by Rick Ankiel. So let's fast forward again to the 2000 NLDS. After Rick's horrible outing in Game 1, he would get the ball again in Games 2 and 5 of the NLCS against the Mets. Neither would go well. In Game 2, in 2/3 of an inning, he had a 16.20 ERA, 2 wild pitches, and 3 walks. Any hope of the YIPS being temporary were squashed. In Game 5, the Cards were trailing 6-0 in the 7th inning when Tony La Russa brought Rick in with hopes that he could shake off the monster. 2/3 of an inning, 15.75 ERA, 2 wild pitches, and 2 walks. The Cards would lose to the Mets and put an end to Rick's season. He wouldn't touch a baseball for months, just trying to get away and forget about things. In spring training of 2001, Rick knew that there was trouble. He was waking up early to throw bullpen sessions before dawn, before the reporters were there to watch. Despite his struggles, he made the Major League team coming out of spring. He was not hopeful heading into the season, and if you look at baseballreference.com, you see he wasn't bad in his first game, 5 innings pitched and 2 earned runs. But what you don't know from looking at those stats and what I learned from reading his autobiography is that he pitched that game drunk on vodka. He knew he wasn't going to be able to get through it, so he pounded vodka in the locker room before the game, then took a water bottle filled with vodka to the dugout to get through those 5 innings. He was trying to get it out of his head. His moderate success only led him to drink more for the next start. He wondered to himself how long he was going to be able to keep this up. Start 2 was not as sharp. Would he have to drink 2 bottles of vodka for Game 3? He decided no. He went into Game 3 sober, and he got clobbered. He was sent down to try and regain control in AAA with the Memphis Redbirds, and good Lord, it did not go well. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 12 wild pitches, a horrific strikeout-to-walk ratio of 0.24. That's 17 walks to only 4 Ks, and an ERA of 20.77. It was so bad that Rick asked to be sent down. His Memphis manager said, "You are down." "Lower," Rick said. And so he went to rookie ball. The guy who had signed for a $2.5 million bonus and started Game 1 of the NLDS the previous year was now in rookie ball in Johnson City, Tennessee, where he would be pitching to an 18-year-old Yadier Molina. In rookie ball, away from the big stadiums, the media, and the spotlight, Rick did well. 87 innings pitched with 158 Ks to only 18 walks. 8 wild pitches and an ERA of 1.33 with a whip of 0.68. But perhaps the key to being sent down here to rookie ball was that they used him as a DH. And as you know, Rick's ultimate comeback would be as an outfielder, and for that, he needed to prove that he could hit. But we're not there yet. Rick would sit out 2002 with an elbow sprain and then lose half of 2003 and almost all of 2004 with Tommy John surgery. Ankiel returned to the majors in September of 2004, posting a 5.40 ERA in 5 relief appearances. His control problems appeared to be gone. He walked just 1 while striking out 9 in 10 innings. In the minors, he walked only 2 batters in 23-plus innings, while striking out 23. However, on March 9 of 2005, after a successful winter pitching in the Puerto Rican Professional Baseball League, Ankiel announced that he was switching to the outfield after a spring training game in which he only threw 3 strikes out of 20 pitches. In his autobiography, he says that he had just basically had enough. It was a constant battle with anxiety and trying to return to the pitcher he was in 2000. His agent, Scott Boras, had been the first to plant the idea of a comeback as an outfielder. So in 2006, Rick Ankiel was invited to spring training by the Cardinals as an outfielder, with a slim chance to make the team as a reserve player. His feeling impressed scouts and managers, and he had shown flashes of power when he was hitting in the minor leagues. But he injured his left knee before the season started and had season-ending surgery on May 26. Another year lost. Ankiel was invited to the Cardinals' 2007 spring training and began that season with the AAA Memphis Redbirds. On May 28th of 2007, he hit 2 home runs in a game against the Round Rock Express. He also hit an RBI double and made an over-the-shoulder catch in deep center field that saved 2 runs. Rick was named a starting outfielder for the 2007 AAA All-Star Game, and through August 8th, he had 32 home runs, 89 RBI, and was hitting .267. He was the home run leader in the Pacific Coast League and tied for second in RBIs. On August 9th, 2007, the Cardinals promoted Ankiel up to the majors. In his first game, he batted second and played right field. In his first at-bat, he received a prolonged standing ovation from the St. Louis crowd. And during the 7th inning, he hit a 3-run home run to right field to help the Cardinals beat the Padres 5-0. 2 days later, against the Dodgers on August 11, Ankiel drew 3 standing ovations. He had 3 hits, including 2 home runs and 3 RBI, and he made a spectacular catch in right field. Rick would finish the year with a .285 batting average, 11 home runs, and 39 RBI, with an .863 OPS in 47 games. In 2008 and 2009, Rick would continue to play in the outfield, where he was quickly gaining notoriety for his arm, and he was a serviceable bat.
Playable for Ankiel. Tavares will tag. And Rick's got a great arm. Rick Ankiel, who used to throw in the upper 90s as a pitcher, just threw a strike to third base from about 250 feet and threw out one of the fastest men in baseball, and it wasn't that close. Line drive left center field. This one will be extra bases for Quintanilla. Here comes that throw from Ankiel. He got him. Another one. Rick Ankiel with his second outfield assist of the night, both on the fly, both over 200 feet. Unreal.
He just picks this ball up and chucks it.
By 2010, Ankiel signed a 1-year, $3.25 million contract with the Royals. At the end of July, Ankiel was traded to the Atlanta Braves. And it was this season where, in October 8th of the second game of the 2010 NLDS against the San Francisco Giants, Rick would hit his first career postseason home run into McCovey Cove in the 11th inning, leading the Braves to a 5-4 win. In a television interview after the game, Rick was quoted as saying it was the pinnacle of anything he's ever done. After that season, the Braves declined the club option on Rick's contract, making him a free agent. He would play the next 2 seasons with the Nationals, where his bat continued to decline. His OPS plus was 120 in both 2007 and 2008 with the Cardinals, but by the time he arrived in Atlanta, he was a below-average major league hitter. The decline continued into 2013, where he made stops with the Astros and Mets, but struggled to even hit 200. Finally, at the age of 33, the Mets released him. In January of 2015, the Washington Nationals hired Ankiel as a life skills coordinator. In retirement, Rick stayed in good condition, pitching in a semi-pro league. he always had in the back of his mind that he would return to pitch at the big league level again. In 2018, he announced he was planning a comeback, yet again, as a pitcher. But in July of 2019, he underwent his second Tommy John surgery of his career. He then officially announced that he was retired from the game and would not return. That spring, he worked as an instructor in the St. Louis Cardinals camp, where he worked with both pitchers and hitters. Rick currently lives in Jupiter, Florida, and he occasionally joins the Cardinals television broadcast. There's a 2016 film called The Phenom, starring Ethan Hawke, that is based on Ankiel's life. Lastly, I'll leave you with a little bit of trivia. 3 players in all of MLB history have won 10-plus games as a pitcher in one season, and also hit 25 home runs in a season. Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani, and Richard Alexander Ankiel. Thank you for your time. Take care.
In front of him, so you're going to clog up the bases anyways. He's got nowhere to go. You take your chances with Tejada hitting a ground ball double play.
And it's by Desmond for a hit. They're going to send Tolley. He's going to challenge Ankiel. Here comes the throw. What a strike it is, and he is out. Oh, what a throw by Ankiel. He pegged him at the plate, and the game is still scoreless.
This is amazing. I love watching this guy throw. Unbelievable. 95-mile-an-hour fastball from short center field right on the money to Wilson Ramos.
Beginning in the 05 season as a Brave. Line shot to right. Tuyasa Sopo is being waved home by Brookins. Here's the throw to the plate. Castro with a tag. Oh, they got him. What a tremendous peg from Rick Ankiel in right. And Castro put the tag on Tuyasa Sopo. To a terrific play by Rick Ankiel combining with Castro. That is hanging it out. Up the middle. Desmond can't get it. Phillies will score 2 and lead 5-0. Ankiel guns out Oswald at third base.
Trying to play Pepper right there and put the ball in play. A pretty good throw from Rick Ankiel on the backside to get Roy Oswald.
9 career home runs. In the air. There's a great arm out there. Might be deep enough, though, for Schaefer. Ankiel's going to whip it home, and Schaefer stays. Look at that. On a fly. 1 out.
If you tune on the highlight shows tonight, you're going to see this. Come on. Are you kidding me? He threw a strike from about 300 feet away. Watch this. Here's the pitch. Strike 1.
Yeah, pitch track said it was on the inside corner.
That is fun to watch.
Right center field off the bat of Sapelt, flirting with the wall, and Worth can't get it. And we've got a runner heading for third base here. Ankiel, tremendous throw.
Unbelievable.
And if he holds on, out. Bixler held on. Ankiel guns out Sapelt at third base.
Watch the arm strength and the hustle to be in the right spot. Bare hand, I don't know where third is. I'm just going to chunk it as hard as I can. Wow.
And Bixler's glove got hung up on the spike of Sapelt. That's why it took so long to get the glove out.
And he's got a gapper leading off the bottom of the 5th. Ankiel cuts it off. Hill digging. Throw! Got him! Wow. What a laser from Ankiel.
But the left-handed throwing Ankiel has the better angle here to stop and throw. It would have taken Jason a couple of steps to stop and throw back, and look at how accurate that throw was. Woo! The former pitcher cut loose a high, hard one there. Wow. Coughlin, just 109 at-bats. Lines it into center field. Another base hit for Coughlin. Round third, Polanco coming to the plate. The throw to third. He is out at third. The run counts. Polanco got to the plate before Dietrich was tagged out at third.
Popped up. That's playable for Ankiel. Rick's got it. Runner tags. Throw to the plate is going to be close. It's going to be in time. What a tag.
Man, oh man, did the Braves need that? What a play by Rick Ankiel.
A perfect strike.
Jeff Baker hasn't played since he was taken out of the game Tuesday night with back spasms. Right after he threw that double play ball away, and the Nats capitalized. Look at Ankiel cutting that ball off. There's a play, and he is out.
That's going to happen down by 8 runs.
Yeah, you cannot do that down by 3 runs, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. 2 outs in the inning. Not against that kind of arm.
I mean, that's just how it's going for the Cubs right now. You don't know the arm of the opposition. Rick Ankiel, probably the best throwing arm of any center fielder in baseball. And you like the hustle by Baker, but when you're down by 8 runs, that cannot happen. The Cubs need base runners. Bare hand, just a little peek is all it takes.
Ronnie Paulino, base hit right center. Worth on the charge, and now he boots the ball. Ankiel's throw saves it, and the runner's out at home. Somebody needs to start picking the ball up, and Rick Ankiel did. That arm is amazing, and he covers up a routine mistake in right field.
Well, Jason Worth should go over there and give him a big fat hug right now, because he picked up Jason Worth and he picked up the ball club just by backing up. Something simple like that. You hear it all the time in Little League at the lower levels. Back up the play. If you're standing around, you're doing something wrong. Well, Rick Ankiel was in the right spot at the right time, and we've seen the hose off.
And is 1 for 3 with a base hit, a steal, and a sacrifice fly. That ball is really well hit to right center. Rick Ankiel can only play it off the barrier, and the Diamondbacks lead 5-1, and the batter's out at second base on a great outfield assist by Rick Ankiel. Just so Harper doesn't get all the headlines, Ankiel guns out a man at second base.